morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this video from. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Achieng, and in today's video, I am going to be sharing a recipe for one of my favorite Kenyan snacks, mandazi, also known as Mahamris, because we'll be using coconut milk. And in today's video, if you have not watched my previous video, I usually use some spice, cloves, and tea masala. I would add some spice in general to my mahamris, but in this video I'm going to create another recipe, and I'm going to use lemon zest. Lemon zest with mahamris are very amazing. They add a zesty flavor to your mahamris. It is so nice, tasty, and you will love it. Mahamris, if you are not aware of what mahamri is, it's close to beignets or puff puff, but with mahamris we use coconut milk, and they're not too doughy inside as other beignets or other puff puffs. And this is a Kenyan delicacy, not just Kenya but East African delicacy that I love. It always comes in handy. I always prepare it in different type of ways because it's an amazing finger food. It's an amazing snack when you do not have, when you're still waiting for your meal to get ready. This is something that you can never go wrong with it. And if it's your first time on our channel, please make sure you hit subscribe. And if you have already subscribed, thank you very much. But I'm going to be sharing this recipe. Let me know what you think. Everything that I'm using in this recipe is in room temperature, which I think it makes a difference to the product or the results of our mahamris. So let me know what you guys think. I really hope you enjoy this video. But without further ado, let us proceed with our steps. So I already have my bowl here, and I'm going to use sugar for this recipe. And then these are my other ingredients that I'm going to be using. I have milk here that is in room temperature, like I said, and then I have whole lemons. This I'm going to get the zest from there. I have butter. Butter is in room temperature and it's unsalted. I have my measuring cups, and of course I have yeast. Very important to use yeast. I'm using this type, this brand, as our rising agent. And of course, last but not least, I'll be using coconut milk for this recipe that is already in room temperature and warmed up. So what I'll be doing, I'll be mixing the coconut milk with our milk. It comes in handy when you mix the two. So I am going to begin with our all-purpose flour. I'm going to use 2 cups for this recipe. I'm not making a lot, so feel free to adjust as needed depending on how much or how many people you're preparing it for. Like I said, for me, it's just a snack, so I do not need a lot, just a little bit. So there goes our flour. And then I am going to add some butter and kind of rub the butter through, not rub, but kind of massage the butter through our flour, which is going to be very important because it's going to help our mahamris to be soft inside. So this is just a little bit of butter that I'm going to use. And then I'm going to add the butter on the last step also, but this is just the first one. Before I proceed with adding the other ingredients. So what I'm doing, I'm using my hands just to massage it through. I prefer when the Mahamris are softer in texture, and that is why I take my time to do this. Just making sure the butter and the flour are mixed well all together. Okay, I'm using 1 tablespoon of yeast. I'm going to just mix. Perfect. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add our sugar. It comes in handy when you have a towel on the side. For the sugar, I am going to use 1/2 cup of sugar. Of course, you can use more depending on your liking. Going to give that a mix. Perfect. And then I am going to add our lemon zest using this grater. I wanted it to be in small size, so maybe not a good idea. Let me use perfect. This one is much better. So I would say I'm using about 1 tablespoon. Just making sure I only remove the yellow part and not the white part, because the white part, if you grate this white part, it's going to be too bitter. So you want to be very careful during this part. And there's something about lemon with sugar, something sweet when they mix. It reminds me of lemonade. So I like using as much lemon zest as I can. I'm going to use the other lemon. If you don't want too much of the lemon taste, you can stop here, but I want more the zesty flavor. Okay. That is good for me. As you can see, we have some left over in here. Since we do not like to waste, we're going to make sure then what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this a very good mix. Perfect. So now what we are going to do is add our wet ingredient, which is our coconut milk and a little bit of milk, but you have to be careful not to add too much, just small amount at a time, because we do not want this dough to be too soft. Okay, we're going to add just a little bit of milk, pinch. Okay, this is where I can use my hands just to mix everything. Perfect. So what we're going to do is set this aside, and on your working station, I like using my working station to really work on the dough. You want a good surface, because at this point we are going to add another amount of butter. So for this, I'm going to do 1 tablespoon, and you're going to take your time to knead this dough until it gets elastic. So I'm going to set this on the side. And then this part, going to have to work on the dough. If you notice before, the dough was just smooth, but by the time we're done with this part, it's going to get very elastic. So here you can work on this about 3 to 5 minutes. It's better to use all of your hands, because you really want to make sure that the dough is really worked on. If your dough is a little bit too soft, you're more than welcome to add some flour while you're mixing it. That is why I like having this type of surface, so that I can just really work on it. Using this just to lift up anything that's sticking on the here, and then flour my station, my working surface, I mean. Perfect. So I can have some control. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to test, see if it's, you want, when you press it, this hole, when you press it, it comes back, it returns to its normal shape. So I need to work on it just a little bit more. It might seem like a lot of work, but you just have to trust the process. And sometimes it's good to kind of press it, not press it, but kind of do this number right here to help you with making this more elastic faster. So you can see now when I press it, it returns. So that is good. Perfect. So our dough should be ready. I'm going to place it back to this bowl right here that we used. But first, I am going to add some oil around the edges. So I'll wash my hands first. I have this. I'm going to spread the oil so that when our dough rises, it does not stick. So I'm going to place this here, clean my working station. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to cover our dough and let it rest for about an hour to 2 hours. And then the same towel I'm going to cover it with because yeast loves warm environments. So I'm going to place this in the oven. The oven is not on. It's just a secure place where there's heat that's more warmer than in the room. You can place it on a proofing drawer if you have that. For me, in my case, is my oven. So I'm going to do that, place it, let it rest, and then we'll proceed to the next step. So our dough has rested and has increased in shape. So What I'm going to do now, I am going to divide it into 3 pieces. It's going to form them into a good, nice round shape. That. Perfect. And then this. Going to add a little bit more from this section. I'm just trying to make sure that they are on this, they're same size. So what I'm going to do, I am going to cover them with a towel and let them rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. So it has been 10 minutes. What I'm going to do now is kind of prepare this surface right here, because we are going to prepare the dough, flatten it and divide it into pieces that will form the mahamris, and then I'm going to place them here. So I'm just getting that ready. And then after that, I am going to prepare these. I'm going to prepare in this mat because it's much easier doing it here. And that is our pan, our frying pan getting ready. But what I'm doing here, I'm just flattening it. You don't want it to be too thick and you don't want it to be too thick or too thin. You just want a good balance. So like that, that is a good amount of thickness. I'm going to, then what I'm going to do, and this is the shape that makes the mahamris, just cut them halfway in the middle, and there you have it. That is your piece right there. I'm going to place them on the chopping board that I just showed you, because we're going to let them rest for some time before we actually deep fry them. So I'm going to repeat the same. So as you can see, and the last one. You can also cut them in any shape that you would like. I just like cutting them in this shape. So the middle like so, and like so. And this is how they look like. So what we are going to do, the same towel, we are going to cover it, and we're going to let them rest for about 20 minutes, and then we'll deep fry them. So our oil is heated up and ready. So I'm going to begin adding the lemon zest Mahamris inside. And what I'm going to do about 3 batch at a time, because first I want to make sure, because this dough has yeast, it is going to expand. So for the first round, I'm just testing to see the space, because I want them to have ample space. So that looks good. And I believe I can add one more. So a batch of 4 will be good for this. And I'm not making a lot, so that's why I'm doing a batch of 4 at a time. But honestly, feel free to add. You just want to make sure the lemon zest flavored Mahamris have ample of space. As you can see with this, I think 4 is a good number for us in this case. And this is where the prepped one are. I just like using the towel just to cover them as I fry. It just makes it easier for me. So you can see there's a rise, which is awesome. Mahamris are known for expanding, and also they are not doughy. Mandazis are more doughy inside. Mahamris are not doughy inside, and that's what I love about Mahamris. I'm not a big fan of mandazi because it's too doughy inside. And I guess for me, when it's Mahamris, I get to eat more because inside is not as doughy. But with mandazi, usually when I'm in Kenya and I get a mandazi, I literally eat just one and I'm full. So, I mean, to each his own, but I just prefer when they are not too doughy inside. So the heat right now is on medium low. Actually, it's just about on medium. But usually I use anywhere between medium to low threshold because I just want the dough inside to cook well, and I want the mahamris to take their time and expand. As you can see, they are rising as they fry, and that's what you want. And then in terms of browning them, you can brown them as much as you want. Some people like them very brown, as long as it's not burnt to the extent that they are burnt. But for me, I like somewhere in between, I would say. But again, to each his own. I can already see the lemon zest, the streaks of the lemon zest that we used. And I'm going to turn this. Just let it fry. So this is going to take us just 3 rounds because I'm not cooking a lot. This is a quick snack, and it's just me. So if you're cooking for more people, of course, it's going to take more ingredients, in quantity, I mean, not in number, but in quantity. And then it's going to take a little bit more time on the frying part because you're frying more mahamris than what I'm doing. I just used 2 cups. So we're going to let this fry. Going to give it a couple of more minutes, about just 1 minute, since the sides are still cooking. And I would rather have it on medium low than have it on high. It cooks fast, and in the inside it's uncooked. It's kind of finding the balance in between, but patience is the key for this, for Mahamris, for baking, anything that has to do with dough. Patience is everything. So if you're watching this video and you have not subscribed, please do not forget to click the subscribe button. And we are hoping for 1,000 subscribers. We already passed the 100 mark. I am so grateful. If you're watching this video and you have already subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm truly, truly grateful to all of you. And leave a comment below. Let me know if you've tried this recipe before. There are different types of this dish, how it's prepared. We have puff puff, we have beignets, we have the Mahamris that we are preparing, and this Mahamris come in different flavors. You can just go wild with it. We have a lot. We have chin chins. It's a lot of variety, but honestly, it's the same. It's the same process in terms of using dough, using flour, all-purpose flour, using some butter, oil, a raising agent. So let me know how, if you guys prepare it different for where you're from, let me know. So now I'm just turning it on the other side to check and see if this side cooked. Looks like it cooked. Just going to let it cook just a little bit more. Okay, I am happy. I'm going to place them on this rack right here. And what I'm going to do now, every time you fry a batch, you have to kind of let the oil heat up a little bit. Give it a minute or two. Let it heat up and then add the other batch, because when this first batch was there, it kind of lowered the temperature of the oil. So you have to give it a minute or so and then add the next batch. So we're going to give it a minute. Okay, it's been a minute, about a minute and a half. So I'm going to go ahead and add the next batch. Going to try and space them out. Perfect. As you can see, the oil got the chance to warm up in that 1 minute and a half. So it's very important to kind of space it out in between. So we're going to let this batch cook. Same heat as the first batch and the last batch, and just give it time. So our beignets, oh, I keep calling them mandazis. Beignets are ready. This was the last batch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place this away, the oil, for it to cool down, just to be safe. And this is Our beignets looks amazing. So while they cool down, I'm just going to move them to a plate so you can see. And one other thing is some people usually use flour, not flour, sorry, powdered sugar to eat them with powdered sugar. I do not, because I'm going to eat this. It's going to be a snack. It's not going to be eaten all of it today. So I'm not going to add the powdered sugar because I'm not serving it to people. And some people do not like the powdered sugar on it, especially back home in Kenya, and in Africa in general. We don't do that very often, as I have realized it's a thing here in the US. So people are different, but I always, when I am serving to people, I always have the powdered sugar, or I ask before, and then I just go from there. So this is how our lemon zest beignets are looking, and they look amazing. As you can see, this is an amazing finger food, amazing snack, amazing for breakfast or afternoon breakfast with coffee and tea. I love coffee better, but just to show you how it looks like inside, just see how beautiful it has a space. And that's the thing with Mahamris, they usually have a space inside, and you can eat this with jam, you can eat this with blue bun, you can eat it with or butter. People are different, but as you can see how soft it is inside, it's really, really good. I love Mahamris. They are my favorite. So guys, let me know what you think about this video, if you enjoyed it, and if you have tried using lemon zest as a flavor for your Mahamris. I'm so grateful to every one of you, for the subscribers, for the future subscribers, and for the new subscribers. Welcome to our YouTube channel. And until next time, bon appetit.